All right, good morning. Good morning. My neighbors look like I am having a small camera issue, but we're gonna go ahead and get right to the charts itself. First, I gotta put the charts up. Let's grab that real quick. Here it is. All right, so I am looking at SPY, and it looks like it's gonna go ahead and do its thing here. And let me just double check my cam. Yeah, it says it is not connected, even though I know it should be connected. Let me try one last thing. Just turn you off, turn you back on, closed it off. See if that solves it. Nope, did not solve the issue. All right, so we'll do without my Wi-Fi cam. All right, so I've been looking at SPY, and the SPY looks like it's trying to really make that push up. CPI data came in very favorable to the market, so let's go ahead and grab that data and see why is that. Grab that. My FX book, one of my favorite, to see what is going on in the market. All right, so we already had PPI data, which was bearish for the dollar for the most part, and then kind of a mixed bag. I won't say it was really bearish or bullish for the dollar, so it could be just, the news outlets are just blowing smoke. Kind of give y'all a little bit of a background. So inflation rate month over month is actually bullish for the dollar. Core inflation rate is bearish for the dollar. And then the CPI, I forgot what SA stands for, but there's two different CPI data. One is bullish for the dollar, and then one is kind of like in line with consensus. So I'm kind of saying it's kind of close. I don't think this is CPI data that makes all-time highs again. It doesn't look like that. So temper your, I guess, ambition. That's the best way I can say it, because this thing could probably reverse when the market opens. But if it can hold support, stay on top of value gaps, stay on top of impulsive candles, then should be fine. So let's go ahead and dig in deep on that. Let's come over to NQ. Let's see what NQ has for us. Nice move. Look at that. We got to 312. Real strong move. Really, really strong move. So we're talking about, if you don't know how NQ kind of moves, let me grab a calculator for y'all, for my non-futures trader. We're talking about 333 points times 4. That's how many ticks. And if you were doing NQ, you're talking about $5. But to be nice and subtle and not have anybody have FOMO, we're going to go with MNQ, which is 0.5. And that is, oh, that's not what I tried to do. 333 times 4 times 0.05. Anyway, not 0.05, 0.5. So that's $666, not $66. $666 that we just made on a push all the way up to this level. Yes, you're right. I could have just multiplied the points by 2, but it was a lot more fun to see how many ticks it was. 1,000 ticks. 1,000 ticks. That's where it is. So $666. If you were in this trade, congratulations. It looked like it's still going up. We're getting about 350. I actually jumped into this trade since yesterday, so this was a nice little move. Took about $100, and I just walked away gracefully because I wanted like $200 in cushion. But hey, it is what it is. All right, so we're about to go ahead and do our floor. If you haven't been on our floor before, it's very, very fun, because what we do, we trade with the opening range breakout. How that works, it's very simple, and we're going to use yesterday as a perfectly good example. Yesterday we had a opening range breakout, which kind of broke out from the bottom, and they attempted the top side. So let's go ahead and grab 930. So this is our 930 candle. So we started off, let me get rid of you. You can go too. Right, we had a nice little base right over here. That's where we go bearish, and right here is where we go bullish, right around here, right? So the fun thing about yesterday was that We kind of came up to this level, attempted to get back above it, and we just could not. So this kind of signaled that they wasn't going to push to the upside, and then we kind of came right on back down. This was a good move for a lot of people, and I talked to some people on the floors. Like this was like 700 to 800 of a move, because timing it and being exactly right and still dealing with pullback from here, because we had a nice little retracement that happened roughly around 9:45. They tried to be bearish and then they tried to take it over again. But this one was a nice little move to this downside. So just keep that in mind when you are setting up yourself, that even though it pulls back, maybe the setup just doing a little bit of liquidity sweep, pullbacks, or whatever the case may be, and then just give you a second chance. Because if you dealt with the second, then the third chance, you probably could have enjoyed this whole entire drop down, which some of us did. And now that we are here, where is the close? Okay, so roughly around here, when I noticed that we couldn't push right back up, I kind of held a position to the upside overnight. I was like, well, if anything, it's probably going to cost me like $100. I had my stop somewhere around here. And I was like, okay, you know what? If they ever take it out, then I'll just probably just get myself out. I woke up, I was up like $100, and I wanted that cushion. But this is a nice little move. Let's go check out some other stuff. I am liking what oil is doing. Oh, even oil. Look at oil. Oil. Oh my God, this is still not set up the way I had it. There we go. So oil has been on this whole entire decline. I've been explaining this for like forever. I want to see this get above 78.45, because I think whatever happens here, it's probably not going to get to your pandemic highs or anything. So that's going to be the catalyst to help probably bring price of oil into some new lows. So short-term pain for long-term gain results, I think is going to happen, but we'll see what happens with Trump coming into office. And then the last one I want to talk about is the dollar, and you can kind of see the dollar's pulling back. I got this 618 right here, so we're going to see if they're going to bounce this 618 and make the market go back to be bearish. But if they recapture this whole entire wick on the weekly, we're probably going to go ahead and start to get some good rally to that upside going into earnings season. So just keep that in mind along the way. Good bearish divergence here. You see, you got upside here, and then this one did not follow suit. It just was warning that there's a potential reversal. All right, so let's go ahead and check out my red list. Let's see, it's 8:52. Let's go to my red list. Let's talk about Goldman Sachs. Goldman Sachs just released earnings. This thing went nuts. There we go. It's at 593. Now, this 593 is a very interesting level, because on Monday-ish, I was looking at Goldman Sachs to see if we can actually play this to the upside, and it got away from me. It had a nice little push towards the morning, and I was like, it's already gone. I'm gonna leave it alone. It got to like 593. I was like, damn, they're gonna get to 600, but it just hit the brakes. This could be the catalyst to get Goldman Sachs to 600. I think there's still some room for that. Probably gonna be some earnings pullback, some profit taking or whatever. But if we can get a nice little break, that 600 and 612 is gonna look really, really good. UNH has been going crazy. Alta, this little disrespectful mofo, did one last sweep here. I was looking at a trend line that kind of looks similar to this, and I was looking for it to kind of like continue to the downside from there, and they swept that. It just was disrespectful. But anyways, it was in a bullish state, well in my rights for me to get liquidated in that. But I didn't think they'll sweep this high, but it got to my level. I was looking for them to test this gap, and since they're here and it doesn't look like the bounce is really strong enough, I will not be surprised that Alta comes back and tests under 400, maybe 375, maybe even this 360, because there's a gap here, and then reverse, and then it should go ahead and take out this high, because I think there's going to be some buyers that's going to be curious about that 450. What else we got? Starbucks. This one, I really liked it above $95. But unfortunately, it just had trouble getting past that. I think where it is. Yeah, this was that breakout. I want to say it's probably this one. I was in this ride and stopped at like 94.50, and I was almost to the money, but it's all good. The market's going to do what it wants to do. We are in a bearish state. Good rejection, good pullback, got new support. I don't think they're going to get that CEO gap. This is the CEO gap. When they announced, I don't think that's going to happen. So Starbucks above 95. I won't be surprised if it gets to 100. That would be very interesting to see. And let me give y'all one more. Cybersecurity. I don't know if I want to still talk about tech. Let's go with Hilton. All right, so Hilton, where it is right now, what I don't like is when things happen like this, right? It's like that compressing, slow drip down and everything else. I feel like any one of these can give out. With the Stochastic is down here, the MACD is curling here. This thing could just reverse right now and then try to go for some new highs. Let me adjust this trend line. Where did I build this on? Might have been the weekly. Nice. Very interesting why I put that there. Oh, you know what? I think that's what I did. I did it on the 2 candle here ish, something like that. And looks like we're holding some support here. Got a nice little uptrend. So this weekly is right here. We're still in the bullish state here. So could it be they just literally slowly pulled back as they accumulated along the way, and then we just do one explosion? Put Hilton on your radar for possibly breaking above 250, 260, maybe even get into that 275. Actually, let me do it a little bit of justice. Let's throw a fib. Oh, actually, I need a negative one. No, I don't think 398. Let's temporary our position a little bit. Let's see what 272 is going to be. 325, 337, very possible, and where it is. But if we look over to the monthly, it's been on this ride for a while. Could pull back a little bit, but I do think Hilton has been giving solid earnings, missing revenues, but they still returning money to shareholders for a long period of time, brought back dividends after the pandemic. So a very interesting spot for this one. So I've been watching this bad boy, and I think this one's going to go higher. All right, let's go ahead and get ourselves into something I've been watching. I like this ticker. This is my Tesla. I like what's happening here, and I'm going to go over to Tesla and see what's going on. We had a nice little pullback, but it looks like it did not break any support here, and this thing is trying to hold itself. Put that as general. So this can give us a nice little push back to the upside as they try to recapture this wick. If we go over to Tesla, which is the one that drives this bad boy, let me get rid of all my drawings here. Very similar, right? So what I'm thinking is happening here is that with all the inventory numbers and everything that's here, and plus we're going to go into its earnings season, I think they're going to take one more stab to try to see if they can get highs. Again, I don't think we're going to get to all-time highs. I really don't. But this is a very good solid base, and it doesn't look like they're going to turn into somewhat of a bear flag. Let me come down to like a 2-hour. Oops, didn't mean to do that. I just removed something. What did I just remove? I think I removed square by accident. Anyways, so I don't think it's going to go anywhere in particular, but if we do one of these, throw a fib, and put our base roughly around here, you'll see that a 618 will bring us to like 440, which is good profits. So I'm thinking that whatever uptrend that we're kind of creating right here, from here to here, actually, you know what? Let me use my ray line. From here to here, and then from here to here, I think these two areas is what's driving the almost like the inclination that they want to push to more highs. This couldn't really capture any lows. They try to get below here. This was a move to try to take out this low to get into some of the imbalances that's over here. This looks like a key level of support, so we're going to go ahead and box this bad boy out. Go ahead and do that. Something along the lines of this. Come on, behave. Right? So something like that is what I'm thinking is happening with a bit of an order block. And if we stay above 390, I won't be surprised we get to 440. All right. Okay. I think it was Square because I've been looking at Square for a little bit. Let me go look at what's going on with Square and bring this back. Nice little move on this. I don't know, orange. There we go. Yeah, nice little move on here. It looks like we're really continuing to try to get that upside. Got a nice little gap up with that soft CPI data and the market's reaction. If we can get above $88, we can test this imbalance into $91. That's why I got this level. Actually, I'm going to clear this. Let me look at this a little differently. Got here, and here, here, and here. And then we got what's being applied pressure from here and here. Oh, NQ is doing something fun. Let's go check out NQ. Tesla just popped up on my alert too. I do use market dominance. Market dominance is an indicator that I have built, and it's kind of fun to kind of look at because it tries to anticipate what the next candle is going to be. So let's go ahead and check out what's going on over there. So starting with the 45-minute on NQ, it's basically suggesting that there's a possibility with all this, great amount of profit, 290 point move to the upside, that there's some profit taking that's going to be in place. So to be a little cautious, let's just go ahead and throw a fib here. So maybe come back to yesterday's bullish line. That would be our 618. That could be an area. If they recapture this wick, especially that they just attempted to kind of come down, little tiny wick right there, we're probably going to take out this top and then just do one more extension. If you know anything about market structure, maybe even Elliott wave, all my enthusiasts, probably do one of these pullbacks like this, but then that second one is probably going to be the real move. So let's see if that actually happens, because then we're talking about more than 290 plus on this upside if this was a true reversal and continuation. Nice little W pattern too here. Neckline. Let's go ahead and grab the short side of this neckline. So that's probably about here to possibly about here. And then we get an extension here. Yeah, that will bring us to probably about 21,487 just off of that move itself. Yeah. Very possible. Very possible. All right. Another one is Tesla. Tesla just went ahead and said short condition is met. Let's see if we can short Tesla on the 1 hour. Again, it's probably short term in itself. We'll grab that. Oh, that's why session's here. There we go. I was looking for that yesterday. I was having such a hard time. So again, same type of setup as well. It's basically saying, hey, we've been pushing up into this direction. Get ourselves a little bit of a pullback. And that pullback probably going to bring us back down into this candle. But if we throw a fib on it, could it be that we just throw a fib and then we just come to like the 618, so 405? Very possible. 405, maybe 404, somewhere around that ballpark. But if we capture this wick, it's probably going to do the same thing with NQ. Just take off. Oh, look at that. Look what that MACD is doing right here. Oh, Tesla to 422 by the end of the day? Maybe. All right, we'll see what happens there. All right. We got ourselves like about a good 30 minutes into the market open. So we probably could, if you have any tickers that you want me to pull up, by all means, go ahead and type it in the chat and I will pull it up and we'll just go over it. I got a whole bunch of other lists, so we could go down my list if you like. While y'all do that, I'm going to start with my screener. Let me grab what happened with my screener here. Oh, waste management popped up in here. If you haven't played waste management, this one kind of moves really, really smooth sometimes. So let's look at waste management. Let me pick 3 here. Waste management had 1.3 million in volume. Ecolab, it sucks as far as their option. All right, so we'll go with waste management, the Southern Company, which is, I believe, an oil play. I think I got 3 yet. I won't be surprised. It'll probably be after today's action. I'm gonna pull something that we did yesterday. Let's go with Pacific Gas Electric. We'll go with those 3. Let's see how all of those look. All right, so let's start with Waste Management. Waste Management is on my red list. It's one of my favorite things to kind of like look, and I think I explained, yeah, actually this was yesterday. Like there's a possibility we could just wedge ourselves until this thing kind of explodes to that outside, and you could kind of see we hit the brakes just around where I drew that line right above this wick here as we try to fill this imbalance along the way. So what I'm thinking is going to happen here is Waste Management, even though it had a lot of volume, I won't be surprised that some of that comes back down, come back into this area, and they're trying to build a nice little case on either a strong bear flag move, especially coming off their highs of 230, or could it be a nice little consolidation until they scoop this bad boy up and pick it back up off the ground. So this is going to be very interesting as it goes into later on today. So just keep in mind of the level 205. If it breaks down from 205, it's probably going to go into some of these imbalance areas until they find support. All right. Southern Company. If I'm not mistaken, this is an oil company, and I'm going to double check to be safe. Nope, electrical utilities. Let me get some details on this one. Name's familiar. 1945. Alright, so they don't have anything as far as like something outside, like they do some extensive like nuclear energy or anything like that. It looked like it's just pure electricity. So it manages renewable energy and sells electricity. So they do have natural gas distribution in Illinois. So that's the only thing outside of electricity that they have. All right, so let's see what's happening here. Why are they on my list with 3 million in volume? Now this thing does look like it's trying to build a base here. If we kind of look, it kind of looks like we're putting in bullish divergence. It didn't really cross here, but this made a lower low and the stochastic did not follow. So this could be the reason why we're exploding. I won't be surprised if it breaks above $85 and then continue back up, especially with this gap up. They needed something to get rid of all this mosh pit. Like I said, and when you get these, side-by-side candles, that's accumulation, and that accumulation can be missing. Oh, really? So they're in your state, Mississippi. Yeah, it says Alabama, Georgia. Yep, Alabama, Georgia, Florida. It's probably in that northern Florida part because I don't know them that well. Down here we're FPL, which is NextEra. Yeah, exactly. So they're probably right at that edge where I-10 is and just kind of goes west. All right. Yeah, I think that 85 level is probably where it wants to go. Does it? Yeah, it says pays dividends. 72 cents is not bad for a stock that's $82. So maybe a dollar cost average thing that they're getting in. Let's look at this from an investment point of view. Ever since the pandemic, it's just been on this upward trajectory. Broke out of here. Again, it's utilities. Utilities is boring. They're not going to do anything that's going to be super exciting where you're going to get these impulsive like Tesla moves. It's just not going to happen. So if you catch some of these bottoms, you might be able to kind of enjoy the dividend ride along the way and maybe get some shares as it keeps accumulating. So that's what it's probably doing. Probably ready for a pullback, and then this gap up to kind of like test, because it does a lot of sideways movement, especially that it got up into this $94. They're probably accumulating enough shares. Let me see what the float is. Yeah, 1 billion shares in float. That's probably why. So they're probably trying to accumulate enough shares so that way they can go ahead and retest that 94 area in itself. So keep an eye, as long as it doesn't get under here around $77. If you're trying to dollar cost average this bad boy, I would say 77.19. As long as it respects that, doesn't get into that 74, 75, you should be fine. And then it's probably going to get into this area But yeah, this one looks like people are trying to pile into it as of yesterday. All right, and then going to another electric company, PCG. If you don't know who they are probably the most battered company, and it's, oh my god, they just beat this thing up. I don't know if you saw from yesterday how I kind of explained. I was like, yeah, we kind of gapped down. Actually, let me go to the daily and look at this thing. I was explaining to about yesterday that this thing has been just dropping off, and they've been trying to clean up their reputation, but this fire is not helping them in any way, fashion, or form. So I think this is a nice little pullback for them to try to kind of give the oscillators a little area of reprieve. But if it doesn't recapture this $18 anytime soon, I would not be surprised that the bears just step right back in and then probably push this into like $14, $15. So this is going to be very interesting with that one. All right, so y'all don't have no tickets for me. Okay, all right, no problem. No worries, no worries. Let me grab another list for y'all. My green list is like usually like things that is ready to go, but I've been focused on my red list, and they kind of go interchange because I look at different time frames. Let's see. Oh, something happened over at NQ. Let's go see what happened at NQ. Did they keep on pushing or did they liquidate? Let's see. All right, this is all built around the 45-minute. Yeah, they pushed it a little bit deeper. So they probably are starting to really take on some of the buyers here. But I don't see no real strength behind it. So this could be just a drift back down until people are waiting for the market to reopen. Let me go ahead and get rid of this for like 2 seconds, because that was yesterday's highs and lows for the first 15 minutes. So yeah, we could get a nice little bounce anywhere in between here. Let me put another fib up in here again. That was the 236 warning. And we could get a 382 bounce. I don't think we're going to come down this low. If we come down this low, this thing might reverse everything and just dump. So I would say the furthest we could come back down is 21,113, give or take. It's probably where we go. All right. Let's talk about, while we wait for all this to open up. More oil? Nah, let's not do oil. Let us go with Boeing. Oh, how can I answer that? What time frame do I trade on? If I feel very scalpy, I can go as low as the 5 seconds. If I am going to do something like a long-term trade. Oh, actually, you know what? Let's do that. Let's do something long-term. So for example, let's just say I'm looking for something that I know for a fact, especially now that we're in the new year, looking for good companies, how they're going and what their game plan is going to the new future. Here, like UNH, for example. I should have got a better contract. That's the only reason I'm not in this position anymore. But UNH is one of those good companies. There's nothing that's going to happen with UNH. They're the leader in its space. They pretty much own a lot of these policies that a lot of people use. Your job probably even uses United Healthcare when it comes down to offering perks for your job, right? So what I like to do is look at how this is holding, right? We got ourselves a nice little order block here. And if this stays, right, we got from about here to here, right? If this stays, if we look left, this was a previous order block. Like they just been dancing around here. So what I like to see is if I see something like this and we got a nice little curl up here, I'm going to look at some of these targets like these people probably not in the market anymore. These people, all of these bears that was here, let's go test some of these levels. So I'll look at the daily like this, and then I'm going to draw a nice little trend line here, and then I'll go to like the 1 hour. In this case, let's go with 2 hour, right? I'll go to the 2 hour, and if we look at the chart, you can kind of see nice little support here. All right, cool. I need the 2 hour to kind of break above. Here's some of my alerts here. I got, is this falling? Does it break this? That means it's going to invalidate my trend line. I have this area as a possible breakout. The reason why I like this as a breakout is because one, it's above my 800, and two, we're probably going to go through this whole entire imbalance. And with proper momentum, we're going to test other imbalances. So I would love for it to come into like that 580. Where I messed up, I had like a $600 contract that expired this week. And even though it made these moves, it wasn't fast enough for that delta to kick in and really push. So what do I mean by that? If you're going to trade with the daily, and you're also going to go ahead and come down to something like the 2 hour, right, as far as your entry time frame, you're going to need multiple dailies in the event it either takes too long to go, or it turns around and like does like a pullback on you while you're in that contract. So for something like a daily, I suggest, something 3 months out. If it's something for the 2 hours your base and you're going like to the 1 hour or 15 minutes, maybe you could do something like 30 days or less. That's where it goes. But if you well, I'll give you one last one. If you're going to take a trade and you know for a fact it's going to be longer than 7 to 8 days, do not get a contract that has 39 days on it. What that means is if it gets under that 30 days, you're going to get a lot of that delta being wiped by theta, because the theta moves faster under 30 days. So to kind of recap, what time frame I like to use, it's all predicated on where I find the opportunity on the high time frame. After that, then I'll grab on something lower. I hope that explains it. I wanted to be detailed. Let me know if it makes sense. All right, so we got ourselves about 14 minutes until, hey, good morning, Javi. How you doing? Got a few people in here. We got about 14 minutes into the market. Starts to open. I changed up this floor a little bit for BYTTT. The more intimate side of it is going to be at 8:15. If you do not have access, by all means, DM me. Let me know so that way I can go ahead and send you a link. You can send it on Instagram, JD_the_great. Twitter is the same, and or you could just go ahead and click the link on my link tree and find a way to get in touch with me. But yeah, so from 8:15 to 8:45 is what we kind of break down what the market looks like in an intimate scale, so that way we can answer questions and everything else. And then for 8:45 is for YouTube. So we're going to be here from 8:45 until 9:45. We're going to build the opening range breakout. We're going to look at what market dominance is setting up for us. Just like this pullback, we probably could have played this pullback, but I was kind of like explain all of this to y'all. You know what? For tomorrow, if I get one of those, we'll actually play it live and see how that pans out. But at 8:45, it's a hard. 9:45, it's a hard stop. Gonna take care of some things that I have to take care of. It's tax season out, but the goal is 8:45, 9:45. You already have a nice little setup, a little bit of coaching, knowing what the market can and cannot do, and then you can set yourself up for a good setup for the day. If you actually followed some of my suggestions from yesterday with NQ's breakdown, you would have been in with 3 different opportunities. No, that's my 15 minute. Let's go ahead. You had 3 opportunities to play this to the downside because they kept on testing that downside. You had one here. If you did proper risk management, guess what? You would have made a good, let's just call it maybe 40 ticks, 50 ticks, give or take, because there was 200 ticks from the breakdown from there. There was 1, 2, and then the third opportunity just went parabolic. So those opening range breakouts, they are very, very sound. A lot of traders trade like that. So there's no secret. You know what I'm saying? It's not my strategy. But when you kind of combine it with your technical analysis that you already know, you probably could get some really, really good profits. All right, so that's what we're going to set you up with. That way you can go ahead and take on the market. Any questions? Any tickers? You know, I could pull some more of some of my favorites. If you don't got any more tickers, actually, you know what? I have not used my other screener in a while. Call it Low and Grow. Low and Grow. What's on this one? Best Buy. Oh, actually, let's go with Affirm. I like Affirm. NextEra Energy. The reason why the volume is so high is because it's utilities. They have so much float, so I'm not gonna go that way. Even though we just did an energy one. Actually, no. You know what? We're gonna do it just to kind of compare from the other energy one we just did. So let's do NextEra. Let's do Best Buy and Affirm. The reason why I'm going with Best Buy and Affirm, Affirm does some partnership with Best Buy, providing financing for that buy now, pay later. So we'll just do it like that, kind of play around that space. All right, so we got like 10 minutes, so we'll try to wrap this up before we get into what's going on there. So let's go NextEra. So NextEra, you can kind of see here, nice little push up here. I really think a lot of money is being put, like all the money that's being made in tech, they're going into safer things like your utilities, your dividends, like your McDonald's and all that. And NextEra is no different. They pay a dividend of 50 cents to $69. Not too bad, but could be better. It looks like an evening star right here. Sorry, not evening star, morning star right here. So we get a nice little curl up that could really take off. We're still in the bearish state, so I don't care for it that much. And it would require that this weekly just curls at the zero line. So very interesting spot for it. Nice gap up. Could be because of the CPI data, and then it just kind of reverses. So keep that in mind as well. Especially we just put it at a def cross on a daily. Let's see if it can at least get back to 73 before it actually does anything. I'll feel safer when it breaks above 73, 74. And I use that as a mode of reversing this def cross. But we'll see what happens. Another one is Best Buy, BBY, not BBBY, for those that knows what that means. This thing was just like trying to drop, but it just could not drop. And now we are putting a bullish divergence that's going to happen here. Unless we get a massive move down, it's not going to happen. And if this day closes bullish, this thing could just really get back up into that 200, using that as a proper catalyst, because I'm pretty sure all these stop losses are going to get triggered. Let's see. A little weekly. Yeah, this is another one, curl at the zero line. Just a slow drip, like we had a nice pop up and then there's just choppy down all the way down. They do pay dividends. 94 is better than some. 94 for $84. Another good one. So this might be another dividend move as they park their money from all the profits that they got at tech. So that's probably why we're accumulating right here. Earnings miss, not by much, 2% and 1%. When I see double digits, that's when I get nervous with tickers. But yeah, double digit pay here. Yeah, nah, this looks solid. So yeah, I think they probably parking their money in Best Buy right now. All right, and then the last one is the buy here, pay later, or buy now, pay later. I'm saying buy here, pay here. That's those car company, right? Yeah, AFRM. Actually, I didn't spell that right. AFRM. All right, Affirm Holdings. Pandemic Darling. Oh, they just got their 200 on the weekly. It's been a while. Okay, all right. All right, so let's see. A nice little curl up here would be great. That would be fun. Hold on, let me close my door. Yeah, another morning star. Even though this one is giving us a bearish candle here, it's still above the close of the previous candle. So this looks like a morning star. Nice little gap up here. I got a few friends of mine, they really love Affirm for what it does, because they this ticker has just been in this tear during our whole entire run. So this is October 23rd. Yes, it did drift down, but with this July push up going into Santa rallies, you can kind of see. And I think with more inflation issues coming in, this is another way for people to kind of get what they need. So nice little pop up here, kind of made highs, and then now we came back into this part of the trend line. If y'all don't know, when I teach my classes, I always explain that there's no such thing as a higher high without a higher low. So this is a higher low, but if it does this, then you cannot draw a trend line like, where are you, trend line? Come on, baby. There you go. You cannot draw a trend line like this and be like, oh, it's going up. Nope, it don't exist. This has to break first before that happens. So this is an uptrend. So when I see something like this, I'm not going to change my pivot here. This could be a pivot point, but you want to be at another pivot point, and this is an area that I like, that is holding, and these people are probably still holding because they're anticipating, oh, we're going to make higher highs as long as it doesn't disrespect their stop loss, which is getting them back to break even. So just keep that in mind whenever you see that. So I like where it is right now. I like the gap up. I like what they kind of do in a way, because it gives people an opportunity to take care of the things that they need to. Don't like the space too much because I feel like it just brings people more into debt, but that's a whole nother conversation. And if any one of these trend lines of this micro downtrend breaks, this major trend will continue, and then we can use this as our pivot, and that should go ahead and give us a nice little upside to there. All right, so just look out for this level to break at $73 if you're not in. All right, we got 4 minutes. Let's go over to NQ and see what's going on over there. What are they doing over there? They're trying. They really are trying to, and like I said, it's going to just drift down, and it feels like it, right? They're trying their best to kind of push this bad boy back down. I don't think they're going to get the oomph needed to be able to push this back down, and this is the challenge that we're facing right now as far as bearish side. So I really think we're going to recapture all this when the open happens. So if you're going to get scalpy, be careful, know your risk or whatever, because this thing can turn back around at any given point. But if you're going to go ahead and just wait for the opening range breakout, which is what I suggest for all my new traders, that would be great. All right, so let's do that. What else we got? We got 4 minutes, so 3 minutes until this opens. Let me go ahead and bring these back down so we can get ourselves ready. Okay. Apple. I wonder if it jumped pre-market. Let's see if Apple jumped up pre-market. Not really. It's kind of solid, like 236 was our spike. If you don't know, Apple has been in this very, very vicious decline. Let me bring this to the daily. It was as much as 260, so it lost $30, about 10% of its move. So this has been one that I've been watching. I'm looking for a breakout here for me to be able to play this again. But we'll see. We'll see. I'm thinking long term on Apple, especially when you look at the weekly. This is what it looks like. And even though there's like a divergence, I think it's just going to be pullback and then it's going to continue up. So very interested in Apple itself, even though they haven't released nothing substantially new, but that's a whole nother conversation. All right, starting to get really close to less than 90 seconds until the market opens. Try to be smart with your entries. Let me get my other charts ready. Let's see, this is my final, yep, that's my final layout. Actually, so we can temper attitudes and demeanors as the market looks very bullish, and I want y'all to be very conscious of what the market is capable of doing. Let me grab something really quick to explain to y'all. There it goes. All right. Let me just adjust my camera real quick. So one thing that I will say overall is that the market is very, very crazy. What's going on, Rob? How you doing? Appreciate you. This is, tweak that a little bit. Boom, boom, boom. All right, cool. So the market is very, very interesting as far as whole. I don't want y'all to have any FOMO whatsoever. I really want y'all. Let me turn off this light. Get rid of that one. All right. Why are you like flashing? Oh, it's because of this. All right. So what I want y'all to do, I want y'all to have a strong demeanor, strong attitude to the market, and make sure you're not just chasing anything. I want y'all to stay inside your structural patrol environment where you watch the market from the outside. I don't want y'all to have FOMO, because if you do have FOMO, that's the one that gets you in trouble, because it takes not caring about what's happening in the market, not being affected on what happens. So I came up with a chemical equation that specifically covers that, which is it takes me, myself, and I, that's the I to the 3, don't give, and plus you got to add a fudge. I'm going to use fudge because we got children that watches YouTube, okay? So make sure you don't give a fudge, okay? And then to balance this out, when the market is moving, you got market opportunity and structural patrol environment. Yeah, there's going to always be opportunities. There's always going to be places where you can take on the market, but it takes a strong person to be able to get into the market, make their profits, and be able to generate the profits that they're supposed to be looking for. So what is very important, let me get this kind of, yeah, there we go, right? So what is very important for you is to multiply. You gotta be 2 times the person. You gotta have that strength. Do not fight with the market. Do not force anything to the market. So you're gonna raise your, there's gonna be a stronger person. So that's I to the 6. You gotta 2 times don't, 2 times give, and then you're gonna raise it. You give 2 fudge of what happens in the market. Do not race into the market. Let's go ahead and look at the chart, and this is why I wanted to kind of break away from that. If we go back to the chart, look what NQ is doing. If you race into the market, they're grabbing all the, oh my God, look how high this is. Just because you see a green candle that is super strong and pushing up to the upside, you're like, I'm just going to jump in. Guess what? It just pulled back from the time of the open all the way down to this level, 119 ticks. 119 ticks? That's like, what, $200 on MNQ? That's what, why even take that chance in that? Why even bother? If you just wait for proper support, you do top-down analysis and everything, you'll be protected. So right now, our first 15 minutes of the opening range breakout, that's why I love this strategy, is because it slows you down and it makes you avoid FOMO. This is what we have set up so far for the first 2.5, 3 minutes, right? Looking for a break to this upside. Maybe even a break. Oh, come on, baby. Get there. All right, we're looking for a break to that upside. That's probably what we're going to get, and then probably going to wipe out all these wicks. Let me see if I see anything on this end. Again, remember, the 45-minute did anticipate that this was going to be a red candle. It's currently red. So there's a possibility it could stay red. So do not chase the cat. I'm telling you this right now. I promise you, you'll make more money not chasing entries. All right, so we got a nice little setup here. Let's get rid of this. We're not going to need that anymore. Very interesting what it's doing, because it's like we got, no, let me mark off this level here. I'm doing this off of one of my other charts. Yeah, 21.43. Let's see if we can stay above that by the time this 15-minute closes. Because what I'm thinking is they're probably waiting for 10 o'clock to make a major move. Let me grab the news. Let me see if there's anything at 10 o'clock going on. We got a Fed speaking. Please. Please, I'm in the middle of a video. So we got a Fed speaking at 9:20, and we got a Fed speaking at 10 o'clock. So that could be the two things that's going to affect it. Now, for my oil traders, at 10:30, we're going to get a lot of oil inventory. So make sure you mark off your levels on oil because there's a lot that can happen here. I personally think that they're going to find a level of support and it's going to continue to that upside. I really think they're going to test some upside levels and sell side liquidity. But don't get too wrapped up. At 11 o'clock, there's another Fed speak. Fed Williams, Fed Goolsbee is talking at 12 o'clock, and then the Fed book is coming out at 2 p.m. So there's a lot of information coming out throughout today. Of course, it's the middle of the week, so it makes sense. So just make sure you're paying attention to your risk management and do not risk anything that you don't want to completely and utterly lose. If you have a goal of making a certain amount of money, get to that goal. And if you get to the 80-90% of it, it's okay. That's still a win. If you want to risk 10% of your wins, cool. But don't give all of it back to the market. All right, so we got ourselves less than 10 minutes. Let's go check out what the 5-minute did so far. So this is our 5-minute. And yeah, you see, this is a nice little push. I know they want to try to wipe this out, but I don't think they can as much as they would want to. Because we got ourselves 5 minutes of price movement that brought us up here. Very interesting. Let's come back up to the 15-minute. If we grab this, put a fib here. Actually, yeah, grab a fib here and change my template. Let's go with golden zones. I like golden zones. I like the 702 because there's a lot of market manipulation that happens. So I have a 702 level. I won't be surprised that we come under the 21,100, but don't break the 21,000. So looking at 21,082. If that gets penetrated, then we're probably going to get one of those bounces and continue. I don't think we're going to get under 2057. Yeah, I would love it to stay under 2100. That would be, I think that would be cheap enough to make bulls step in, and I think it would be low enough to get the bears to be like, all right, I got enough profit, let me get out the way, and then we continue to these highs. So just be patient, folks. We got 8 minutes until this candle close, and then we're going to find out what our levels are. Let me see if I can find any quick scalp opportunities. So far, I don't see anything yet. Nice little bounce area here. Yeah, the real level that pushed us up was that 21,143. Let me come to that 1 minute to show y'all what I mean. So you see how we're coming back down to this low right around here into this area here, I think is what they're looking for. Because if we can get into there, then that would rebalance a lot of this stuff that pushed up. But I would love for them to kind of like hold here. All right, we're making lower lows here. Imagine if you just FOMO'd and be like, oh my God, CPI data. I used to be one of those guys. I used to have a bad anchoring bias. I used to wait for the news, and I lived and died by the news itself. And I used to do some back testing. I'm like, all right, it does this, that, and third. And I'm purely price action now. So imagine you just said, oh, CPI data is just amazing, and this should be it. And then you carried some bias because you was already bullish anyways. Just because of your lack of confluence and just staying biased, from the point that this tried to break out and you probably played some sense of a breakout on a lower time frame, this is like 200 ticks the other way. Yeesh. That's expensive. Very expensive. So it's very important that you look at the charts. The charts would not lie. They can't hide their fingerprints. All right. Let's come back up to the 15 minute. How much time we got? We got 6 minutes. I think this was a good solid test. Bring this back. came into that 382. This was the one I kind of warned y'all about, right? 382, just in between, got almost to the 50% and then bounced. Good area, good area. All right, I'm probably gonna get into scalping mode because this is like when you see these long wicks on both sides and then wick here, but then there's no full bodies, that's not controlled. That means that is balanced, right? And we don't make money on balance. We make money, well, there is some techniques on how to do it with balance, but that's with spreads and options. But let's not get too deep into that. But these retracements and liquidations and staying balanced, that means buyers and sellers exist here, and we make money, especially my futures traders, we make money on the appreciation and depreciation of the market. So very important that you just patiently wait here. So let's see if we can find a nice little scalp opportunity. It looks like we're getting into that top area. What are you targeting? I think they're going to try to take out some of that here. Not that, not that, not that. Maybe here. Now that we push so far. I think they're trying to get back to 285, so I would have scalped that here and see if I can get a pullback. Let's go to already go. I assessed it too quick, too late. See if I can find another target. Yeah, so they already triggered the 285. Let me adjust this here. So we got that. We got that for right now. So now they're gonna go for 299, 300. Trying to find a spot, but I can't find a spot at all. This thing's moving too fast. That was a nice little reversal from that under 200 level, and that's 100 points right back up. Be patient, folks. Be patient. Possibly here, actually. Let me do this in paper trade. Get myself warmed up. I would love for it to kind of like get around that 285 again. So I'm probably going to do something like this here. Let's see what happens here. And then I'm going to have a limit here. I think we're going to do this little dance here. Back and forth, back and forth. Oh. Let's see, I got a couple of ticks. See if we can get a little bit above here. And might toy with it a little bit. Let's get rid of that order. I'm gonna probably wipe this because I was expecting an explosion. I did not get that. Let me see something. Yeah, they're gonna try to pull this. Unless buyers step in, because I'm looking for 299. That's what I'm looking for. Oh, I think this might be it. Yeah, there's some sellers there. If we can grab that liquidity, there we go. There we go. Come on. Come on. All right, I got to like 80% of it. I may just take 10 ticks if it shows me that. Maybe. I'll take the 10 ticks. So, like I said, quick scalp, but I was looking for an explosion, especially going towards the end. But, you know, the 15-minute is ending right now. So, they could be, yeah, there we go. They're going to take another stab at it. They could be just pulling it right back up to pull it right back down to get ready for the next 15-minute candle. So, I'm going to sit back and just watch this right now so we can establish our 15-minute. and then set y'all on your way. That way you can be able to conquer the market. Again, you want to get something like our 15-minute opening range breakout. That is our higher time frame, right? That's what we're building a lot of this on. And if you look, this is bullish, but any one of these can reverse because we are on the top side of it, right? So when you're coming down to your lower time frame, make sure you have maybe something like a 5 minute, maybe something like a 10 minute that's already going in the direction that supports this. And then after that, maybe 1 minute entry to get a very sharp entry, maybe 2 minutes. I know some people think the 1 minute is too fast, so maybe 2 minutes. And if that 2 minute is following what that 10 is doing, you should be able to get multiple candles. So proper top down analysis is very important when getting in. All right, so new 15-minute is in. All right, so this is what our levels are. All right, so we got ourselves this area 21,308, 21,186. That's your opening range for today. I don't see anything from a market dominance side. Let's just double check the 45-minute. See what I mean? Like, this was a good play. Like I love market dominance. It was a good play to play it down to this side, knowing that there's a potential red, and they just bought it all back up. So they took their profits, and that's what's cascading. Nice little move back to the upside. We're probably going to get a good break soon, then later, but we'll see. Again, don't forget to check your news, MyFX book. That's where you're going to find that. Don't forget to click the links down below. That's where you're going to find everything from me, Linktree, and all that. And also, I have my Linktree that for free one-on-ones. If you need help or you're struggling or whatever the case may be, I'm doing free one-on-ones for the month of January. Just book yourself. It's inside of my Linktree. And that said, I bid you a fond farewell, and I will see y'all tomorrow at 8:15 again, or 8:45 on YouTube. You have a great day.